Imagine waking up in the middle of June and seeing snow outside your window. Crops die in the fields. The skies turn gray for months. Food disappears from markets. Starving families begin to panic as people line up outside empty markets that never reopen. And no one understands why the world suddenly feels cursed. Then the truth emerges. A volcano, thousands of miles away, has changed the planet itself. One eruption triggered global starvation. It disrupted weather across the entire planet, and it pushed entire societies toward collapse. This is the terrifying story of the year without summer. In April 1815, a volcano on the Indonesian island of Mount Tambora erupted with unimaginable force. Most people alive today have never heard of it, but Tambora produced one of the most powerful volcanic eruptions in recorded history. The explosion was so massive it could be heard over 1,000 miles away. Entire villages vanished instantly. Ash buried the land. Tsunamis slammed nearby coastlines. Tens of thousands of people died in the immediate disaster. But the eruption didn't stop at destruction. It reached the sky itself. Because Tambora didn't just destroy an island, it changed Earth's atmosphere. The eruption blasted enormous amounts of ash, dust, and sulfur gas high into the sky. And soon, the entire planet began to cool. By 1816, strange weather patterns spread across the world. Temperatures dropped across the world. Seasons stopped behaving normally. In the United States and Europe, snow fell in late spring and summer. Farmers woke up to frozen crops in June. Lakes froze without warning. The sky turned red and orange for months. Sunlight itself grew weaker each day. People called it the year without summer. No one understood what was happening. Some believed it was divine punishment. Others feared the end of the world. The skies often appeared eerie red or orange because volcanic particles scattered sunlight across the atmosphere. Sunsets looked beautiful, but underneath that beauty, society was beginning to break apart. Because when temperatures fall suddenly, food systems collapse. Across the northern hemisphere, harvests failed. Fields that should have been full of grain stayed empty. Corn rotted before it could be collected. Wheat stopped growing in cold soil. Livestock began dying in the open fields. Farmers watched entire food supplies disappear in weeks, storing nothing because they assumed it would pass. Markets didn't collapse overnight. They emptied slowly, shelf by shelf. Bread became rare, then expensive, then gone. Families began trading everything they owned for food, furniture, tools, anything that could buy one more day. In some places, people survived on wild plants, bark, and spoiled grain. Riots broke out at grain markets. People fought over sacks of food in the streets. In parts of Europe, entire communities began starving together, and hunger didn't come alone. Disease followed it. Typhus spread through weakened populations living in overcrowded conditions. One season shift had become a chain reaction: crop failure, food collapse, and social breakdown across continents. As conditions worsened, society began to break into survival mode. Families abandoned their farms and moved on foot. Entire roads filled with people carrying what little they owned, forming long, silent lines stretching beyond sight. Some walked for days, searching for food that no longer existed where they lived. Some Americans moved westward, hoping to find better land and weather. In Europe, cities became unstable. People stopped trusting markets, governments, and even neighbors. Survival replaced order. Governments struggled to respond. Poor communities suffered the most. And amid the chaos, people searched desperately for meaning. Some religious groups believed humanity was being judged. Others thought nature itself had turned hostile. But something strange also emerged from the darkness. During the cold, stormy summer of 1816, a group of writers stayed trapped indoors near Lake Geneva because of constant storms. One of them was Mary Shelley. Surrounded by darkness, isolation, and fear, she began writing a story about life and creation. That story became Frankenstein. Even art and literature were shaped by Tambora's shadow. Today, scientists understand what people in 1816 could not. Massive volcanic eruptions can affect global climate. When Tambora erupted, sulfur particles spread through the upper atmosphere and reflected sunlight away from Earth. Less sunlight meant lower temperatures, and because global agriculture depends on stable seasons, the effects became devastating. Modern researchers now study Tambora as a warning for future climate disasters, because Earth's systems are deeply connected. One volcanic mountain in Indonesia affected harvests in Europe and North America. One natural disaster triggered worldwide economic and human suffering. And even now, scientists worry about how fragile global food systems really are. A major climate disruption today could still create shortages, panic, migration, and instability. History has already shown us what happens when nature suddenly changes the rules. The year without summer eventually ended. Temperatures slowly recovered, harvests returned, life moved forward, but the scars remained. Entire communities had been pushed into famine. Thousands died from hunger and disease. Economies were shaken, governments faced unrest, and the event revealed something terrifying about civilization. Human society depends completely on fragile environmental balance. People often think modern crises are unique, but history tells another story. The world has already experienced global climate disruption before, and when food disappears, everything else begins to unravel. The eruption of Mount Tambora remains one of history's clearest examples of how quickly nature can destabilize humanity. Not through war, not through invasion, but through the sky itself. The year without summer eventually passed. The skies cleared, harvests returned, and the world slowly moved on. But Tambora revealed something humanity could never fully forget. Civilization is far more fragile than it appears. One eruption, on one island, changed weather across the planet, collapsed food systems, triggered famine, and pushed entire societies toward desperation. Not through armies, not through politics, but through a sudden change in the sky. And even today, human survival still depends on seasons staying predictable. Because when nature changes the rules, civilization changes with it.